Good afternoon. This is Paula Ward, aka Tutu Fit Mama. I pray my internet stays working. It is raining in Bolton today, so that means no internet for me. Anyways, I'd read last night chapter 6, which was basically learning from failure, turning mistakes into success. And it was a long chapter, and I was sitting with a patient who was acting up, so I was listening to it to kind of keep myself awake. And it talked about basically swooping in to save our kids. If we do all these things for them because it isn't perfect, they'll do it kind of half-assed, or they won't do it at all. And just some different examples of how kids can help around the house at different ages to kind of make them valuable in your family. And when they feel valuable, they help out more. And I didn't think anything of it. Came home, went to sleep. I was exhausted. And for those who don't know, the reason why I posted the quote was because Moira, my daughter, who is 11, has been taking sewing lessons with my savior, Diane Mulrain. She works at Dragonflies Boutique in Hudson. She does my tutus. She does personalized gifts for me. She made gifts for coaches and stuff like that. She is fantastic. I'm sure you guys have seen me post her stuff. But for Moira's birthday, rather than buy junk she didn't need, she wanted to make something. And so she's been using sewing to kind of help her relax and help her kind of do something to kind of settle down at night. So she got a sewing machine from my mom-in-law a couple years ago, and she hadn't really used it. So it's the same machine she uses at the sewing classes. And so for her birthday, she went with my mother, and she picked out a whole pattern. Now, I don't know anything about patterns, and it says like simplicity. There's nothing simple about it. Apparently she picked out the hardest pattern. She wanted to make a varsity coat. She picked the hardest elements out of all the coats. And, you want to be like, Mo, I don't think you should do that. Maybe you should start with something more simple. But she wanted to do it. So who am I to steal her dreams, right? So for her birthday from another person, she got sewing lessons. So we decided this week for 2 hours a day, she would go and make this coat. And of course, I bring her to Diane's, and she goes, oh my God, this is hard. But she's like, no worries. She'll figure it out. We'll get it. And I'll help her. And I have to say, she's got the patience with kids that I can't even believe. I'm not anybody that sews. I'm so glad she sews so she can hem my pants and fix things. So she goes in, and she wanted piping on the sleeves. She wanted all kinds of crazy things going on in this coat. And every time she would kind of get to a different part of it, I didn't pick her up today, my husband did, so I had gone back in there because I had to pay her for some stuff. And she goes, I am so impressed with how Moira did. Not thinking that these were lessons that she was, this coat was probably the most expensive coat she's ever made. I probably could have gone up the street and bought it cheaper, but the lessons that came with it make it priceless. So part of the thing was that she was worried about doing zippers. She was worried about doing the sleeves. At one point, she'd cut the pattern on the back wrong. So she had to put a stripe down the back. And every time she would do that, she would get anxious. She goes, oh my God, it's not going to be the same as the pattern. And I loved what Diane said to her. She said, the worst mistakes can be your best creations, which is true in life, right? So she ended up, this jacket is actually completely wrong because she had adapted a little bit because she'd cut it a little too short on one side. So really, she actually went beyond the pattern and learned that, every time she would get excited, Diane's like, she holds up her seam ripper and she goes, this fixes any mistakes. She goes, and we can always do it again. And we just learned to not do that again. And really, she learned that she could make this coat, even though she was afraid of kind of doing it. She now has this jacket as something to show her efforts. This was hard. It took her 3 days to make this. And she went through every day. And even Diane said when she came in there, she was so excited to be in there and was working from the time she was there to the time she left. And even, she's like, any mistakes we make, we can fix. And it was funny. Me and my son were talking about it in the car. He goes, yeah, like Bob Ross, he says we don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents, which I don't know how Peter Ward is paying attention to Bob Ross because maybe he watches it on YouTube, who knows, but it was funny. And I do there's another Bob Ross quote that I found, there's nothing in the world that breeds success like success. So by being able to accomplish this, she now can, go out and make something else and think, oh, I could do anything I want to. I just maybe need a little bit of help. a little bit of patience from Diane or somebody that knows how to do it. And really, she can make anything. I know my sister was a huge sewer, and she'd make beautiful things that I couldn't even imagine doing. But that's not my passion. My passion is cooking. And for my daughter, it's sewing, and whatever helps her relax. Like I said, probably would have paid for this coat was ridiculous, but I can't look at it that way. This is a life lesson she learned. She knows how to sew. She can make things. She can make a business from this. My mother-in-law is sew stuff, and beautiful things. She can make anything you want to, and she's done it for me. So this is more that this is giving her something she can do. This is giving her a way to contribute to the family, and the pure knowledge that she created this, and she actually went beyond creating this because she made it her own because she had to do some tweaks to it. That life lesson is huge. So I initially was kind of struggling on how to share the chapter because some of it's kind of dry. Some of the chapters are better. But when I showed up to talk to Diane today, I listened to her and just how impressed she was with Moira, even though she was nervous, she was scared, she was afraid she couldn't do it. The one thing she learned was that after she did it, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that hard. And you learn that with everything in life. Sometimes the thought of doing it is worse than what the actual outcome is. When we talk ourselves into how, that we're going to fail and how bad things are when really it's not that bad. So hope this helps. If anybody's looking for sewing lessons, I know some of the moms in Bolton have sent their kids there. She does great stuff. She will do camps, and she did private lessons for Moira for the last 3 days. And she has them making all kinds of stuff. Her camps are great. So that's it. I hope that was helpful, and to basically let your kids be creative. Get them out there. And she wasn't playing on the Xbox. She wasn't sitting playing video games. She created something awesome. So that's it. This is Paula Ward, aka 22 Fit Mom. I hope this helps. I hope this helps you live your best life.